Fauci says outbreak exploding because US didn't shut down. That old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Seeing that right now. From @BrianCloss, https://twitter.com/BrianCloss, on Twitter. New cases 7/12. UK, 820, Japan, 410, Germany, 224, South Korea, 35. These countries combined have the same population as the United States. Cumulative cases, 1,489. US cases, yesterday, 61,719. Donald Trump in Germany, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and many other countries, schools are open with no problems. The Dems think it would be bad for them politically if U.S. schools open before the November election, but is important for the children and families. May cut off funding if not open. This is why other countries can open schools. Because they took the potential outbreak seriously and put measures in place to contain it. Fauci may have been silenced by the administration, but I appreciate the fact that he's still out there regularly giving interviews. I feel so bad for the man. He's literally dedicated his entire life towards this moment, and now he's just being sidelined and attacked. Yeah, it is the key difference between us and the countries who are coming out of it now. The scariest thing about the whole era has been the fact that it's really laid bare how America is incredibly vulnerable to biological/viral attacks because of the way we behave. NYC was shut down for months. It finally reached 0 new deaths. They didn't rush to reopen, the governor had constant news briefs and mandated masks. If the second busiest city in the entire country can beat this thing, you better fucking believe that your town or city can do the same. This thing is not a foregone conclusion if you actually do your fucking job both as a public figure and as an individual. Around March 18 we started seeing states shut down. On March 24 Trump tweeted that the cure can't be worse than the disease. He couldn't even last 10 days. Trump and Republicans are the grasshopper in Aesop's fable The Ant and the Grasshopper. Edit. The fable describes how a hungry grasshopper begs for food from an ant when winter comes and is refused. The situation sums up moral lessons about the virtues of hard work and planning for the future. https://en. Wikipedia. org/wiki/the_ant_an_the_grasshopper, Buprov equals 51. Maybe 50 states with 50 different shutdown plans was not a good idea. I wish that Fauci would start holding press conferences opposite Trump. See who wins the ratings game. Who would have thought that we Americans would be selfish, impatient assholes? This is what happens when you have a government that tries to tell a virus it isn't a problem. The virus responds with "thanks for the free ride, chumps." I mean, other countries that are more democratic than us were able to shut down. It's not a matter of freedom, it's a matter of civility, and clearly we ran out of that. Although, I live in New York, and we are doing great because we accepted that this isn't about freedom but rather our neighbors. We also don't have a nationalized plan like other countries, leading to 50+ different ways states were trying to solve the problem because Trump refuses to lead. He probably didn't get the memo, but soon the virus will magically disappear. /s. Such a hard call. Who to believe? World-renowned research scientist with lifelong dedication to pandemic research, who heads the NIH, or some randos who failed high school biology on Twitter and a reality TV personality? He is probably the most patient guy on earth. To have his hard work undermined by a coalition of stupidity on a daily basis and still continue to show up to work the next day is just mind-boggling to me. Dr. Fauci is the living embodiment of the Sisyphus. In another timeline, Hillary would have shut down the country. The cases would be less and tapered off now. The Republicans would blame her for every death and every dollar lost due to a shutdown. The MAGA hat wearers tried to blame the Chinese communists, but that didn't take hold, so now they are turning on Fauci. Fauci is the only guy on the whole pandemic team I'd be listening to. If Fauci is an idiot, then Trump and Kushner are 40 IQ points below idiot. Fun fact, Trump has golfed more in the last 2 months than met with Dr. Fauci. Nothing to worry about at all, everything is fine. To steal an old Frankie Boyle line. Trump isn't just the worst person for the job, he might be the worst mammal. Jesus Christ, America. It's no wonder they're terrified of this guy. He keeps telling the truth and calling them on their bullshit. They fucked up, it's on them and they know it. We did shut down. But then redneck idiots forced us to reopen prematurely. I told everyone I knew plus governor and representatives we needed a hard lockdown nationwide for 4 to 6 weeks. This half measures is going to keep us in the first wave until the second wave starts for everyone else. This is America. We don't wear no fucking mask. MAGA 2020. This is what's wrong. It's going down to 0 cases at the end of February, guys, don't worry. All we had to do was learn from the successful countries. All we had to do was wear masks. Hell, I even mentioned in February that the government could even send us all masks. Instead, nope, Trump fucked us over and we spent trillions instead. Fuck you, Trump. It must be so incredibly frustrating to be a business owner in Florida or Arizona who was responsible, who did shut down in March, who took a huge financial hit in the promise that we were all going to have to take a hit to crush this virus and get back to reopening, only to see that everybody else didn't bother and you're going to have to stay closed for months longer than you ever thought you would have to. Thank all the dumbass red state governors who, in a mad rush to lick Trump's boots, refused to take any precautions or demanded that they reopen after 2 weeks. Now they hide numbers and refuse to do much of anything because we live in a nightmare hellscape where the wicked are never punished. At this moment, people are just shouting hoax, YOLO, and Kung Flu as if they are curing mantra. FYI, shouting hoax, YOLO, and Kung Flu doesn't prevent you from getting COVID. There's no possible defense of the US response to this pandemic. It has been worse than a fiasco, it has been a complete failure in a ludicrous and humiliating way. The USA will never be able to forgive and forget this debacle. In the midst of leadership failure, Trump twitters this quote: "The most dangerous lies are those about COVID-19, everyone is lying. The CDC, media, Democrats, our doctors. Unbelievable, literally everyone I know was considered an essential worker during the so-called shutdown. It was bullshit. I mean fucking duh. When things were all ramping back up and reopening a few weeks ago, the people who actually listened to scientists knew this would happen because they said it would. We shut down but reopened because it was hurting the rich politicians' stocks. Not hard to see that. I mean, obviously LOL. Because the country isn't ran by scientists and health professionals. It's ran by clowns and baboons. That's because we didn't. Half the states shut down, and the other half threw COVID-19 parties and had mass demonstrations with armed people showing up at the Capitol building burning effigies of governors for attempting to shut down and ask people to wear masks. There is a virus, it was totally containable at one point. Then we had to have people go and deny its existence and spout crazy theories while people died from it. If anything, the fact that Trump is wearing a mask now, shows how desperate the situation is now. It's so bad even he can't deny it anymore. Anyone who still supports these people deserve a special place in hell. GOP stooges, we call it China flu because China did nothing to stop it. Also GOP stooges, hell no, we aren't gonna do anything to stop it. The US leading the charge in new cases is due to sheer American ignorance and arrogance at its finest. The rest of the world saw what needed to be done and willingly did so. They went into isolation, immediately set up massive testing centers, built new hospitals, and took care of everything that was needed to combat this bug. In America, yet, we get a president who ignored initial reports, dismissed the seriousness of it when it reached American shores, disbanded the one department whose sole job was to combat this exact kind of threat, continued to ignore it when New York became the epicenter, left the states to deal with it on their own while he sought his own glory, and continued to not follow demonstrated evidence and advice on how to stop its spread. And what did Americans do during all this? Complain that they had to wear a mask. Complain because they were asked, not ordered, to stay inside. Complained because they couldn't gather in large groups. Complained because they couldn't get their friggin' hair done. Then told government leaders to let them out as if they were in prison. Stormed Capitol buildings in mass mobs with automatic weapons in protest, all while not wearing masks. Defied local mandates to not open non-essential businesses, held concerts, opened restaurants fully. And when they said America has flattened the curve, what they didn't tell anyone was that yes, the curve was indeed flat, but it was straight vertical. Look at America's numbers compared to the rest of the world. Why is it so hard for Americans to stop being such idiots and see what the rest of the world is doing and just do it as well? If New Zealand can get to where they have eradicated COVID from their country, there are zero reasons we can't do the same. But we won't because we think we are bigger, better, and badder than the rest of the world. Too bad we are 100% wrong in this mentality. Until we get over ourselves and our presumed superiority to the rest of the world, America is going to glow like a coveted campfire, and we will burn for our hubris.